Jim, last question for you. In your opinion, when the ball is dropping at the end of 2020, what do you think the price of silver is going to be? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Silverfest. As you can see, we are joined by the great Dr. Jim Willie, everybody's favorite, Dr. Jim Willie of the Hat Trick Letter, joining us here at Silverfest to discuss how high the silver price is actually going to go. I try and, not try and keep it on the realm, and I don't get into too many price targets on the show, although I've seen 50 as a floor. But anyway, Jim, welcome on in. How are you doing there today, sir?
I'm doing less strange than yesterday, but I'm strange. I'm strange every day. I tell you, this is a period of very high anxiety for a lot of people, including just about everybody I know, except one guy who's got over $10 million worth of gold. He's not worried. Everybody else I know is worried. I mean, everybody I know is worried sick. All right, so I'm going to talk about why silver is good, why silver is cool. It's a whole lot more than just shiny. It has tremendous characteristics. Let me just start with something having to do with Maxwell, my great source, who I'm going to get an update with very, very soon. He informed me that he's got a former colleague from a previous position where he was the vice president of a firm and in a trading function. There is an ongoing meeting every week hosted by the Euro Central Bank, and it is basically a financial reset forum. And they're trying to iron out all the different details having to do with the monetary system that's coming up and the energy and technology system that's about to be introduced, where agreements have been made toward a proposed equilibrium price. And back in May, that silver equilibrium price was decided as 400 US dollars per ounce. And the gold price, I'm going to focus on silver, but I'm going to mention gold because of the gold silver ratio. At that time versus the 400 silver, they had proposed as an equilibrium gold price of 10,000. And just since May and June and July, with all the extraordinary additional monetary increases, in other words, printing money, distributing it to save the system and prevent a lot of, tremendous bankruptcies, they've increased at this forum. And his friend attends it almost every week, Maxwell's friend. The new goal is 700 silver and 15,000 gold. We're talking about 25 or 22 to 1 in a ratio, which means we're going to see a 3 times greater relative rise in silver versus the rise in gold. Now, I like silver for a lot of reasons. Let me just continue with this energy technology, globally managed market that's coming up for silver. And I don't know how they're going to pull it off, and I don't know exactly when. But silver has a lot of tremendous characteristics. Most people don't focus on its isotopes. Most people don't know what an isotope is and how it differs from an isometric exercise. I happen to know what an isotope is. It's when an unusual number of electrons and protons, no, not electrons, protons exist in the core and renders it different and perhaps unstable. Now, with uranium, if you get U-235, you can make an explosion. It has a big boom for it. With silver, you've got 2 popular isotopes, and each one, so I understand, I could be a little off on this, each one has about a 40% commonality, and that's very unusual. Most of the time, if you get, say, a carbon isotope, it might have 2% or 1% for its unusual appearing isotope. Silver has 2, so that they do some differentials, and it's like, electronic arbitrage, and they use that fact common isotopes. Yeah.
Did you just compare the isotope structure of silver to arbitrage?
Yes, I did. That's
right,
so that
you just won yourself a silver trifecta.
Okay, good. Well, I wanted to speak your language. Okay, let me go on. I got a number of different items here. We have an explosion in the delivery contract volume for silver. It's like 5 to 10 times what it was a year ago. Okay, this is very big. We have shutdown of major silver producing nations. I'm talking about, it's going to be a new acronym that you'll see once in a while, maybe not a lot, but it's the CAMP Latinos. It's Chile, Argentina, Mexico, and Peru. A lot of their mines were shut down, which meant that their output was limited. And I don't want to get into the why and wherefore that this happened, but they shut down and now they're coming back online gradually, but not fast. We've had a severe annual shortage of silver for years. And the Voice told me 10 years ago, India is supplying silver in quantity in order to alleviate and prevent a global crisis in silver. So the British are behind it, absolutely. China has been actively replenishing their silver stockpile that they created around the year 2000 and I think 2002 or 3. They made a gigantic silver stockpile, and it's been depleted largely. I don't know if it's completely out, but it's largely depleted. And for those who study some older American history, Teddy Roosevelt established a 6 billion ounce silver stockpile for the United States, and that ran out about 6 or 8 years ago. So silver is in trouble. Here's a funny little factor. The economic recession has been broad and powerful. It's all across the globe, and it really started 13 years ago. We've never exited the recession since before the Lehman event. And with this recession, you have lower output of, say, zinc, tin, copper, and the byproduct is silver for a lot of that major industrial mining. So we've got some problems with the byproduct. Here's something that Maxwell pointed out as a last point, and I'll make it my last point. I'm a jittery guy. I itch, and I'm just not comfortable sitting down. Missiles, military missiles, whether they're defensive or offensive, use a lot of silver. He said that there is, I don't want to forget the squeeze. He said that there is a lot of demand recently for the missiles, that it's not just the Tomahawk cruise missile. That's an antiquated, inaccurate embarrassment to the U.S. military. We're talking about the S-300, 400, 500, 600, 700 Russian missiles. And we're talking about the defensive missiles like the Patriot, even though they don't work. If they're shot, they hit the ground and they vaporize. So without even hitting the mark, the bad military defensive missiles still consume a lot of silver. They're not recovered. Maxwell said something that really stuck with me. He said J.P. Morgan had a gigantic lease about a year or two ago with the military contractors, and they're stuck. They're on the wrong side. They're being squeezed. They can't cover. They're losing a lot of money, and they're appealing for official aid to get out of their short positions for silver. I just love silver. I think it's a lot more than shiny. I've actually got a Morgan silver dollar set that's from New Orleans, the O series. And it's gorgeous because it has these little marbling impurities, I don't know whether they're copper or iron or what, but it's like a streak. And it's beautiful. So that's my spiel. I could talk more, But really, silver, silver, how can I love you? Let me count the ways.
That is a bumper sticker in the making. And Jim, we have 5 minutes left. There's a few things that we need to talk about in public here. And we'll let Jim, by the way, can you see that to your right, there's a stage in the chat room where you can see your fans are quite excited right now. You spoke about having a Morgan ounce, and perhaps folks watching at home, you can chat in with your thoughts if you think that we simply need the Silver Willie, the Jim Willie ounce. If you would like to have a silver coin minted, so you can go pay for your bread, and how many Willie ounces will that cost? Jim, I think you need your own silver coin.
No, I don't do anything like that. Turd Ferguson did that, and as much as I love the guy, I think people who bought that might have trouble selling them down the road. So you want to be standard. Jim, you want to be standard. You want to be standard, which means the Silver Eagle or the Maple Leaf. You want to be standard. You got to think about how you're going to sell it, and you don't want some asshole telling you, well, what's that? Now you want to say, this is a Silver Eagle or this is a Maple Leaf, and I want to sell it to you for top dollar.
Yeah, but Jim, you're not thinking fourth dimensionally here, because look at all the young entrepreneurs we have. So imagine if there's someone out there that doesn't have any silver right now, but is watching and says, well, now maybe if I go out balance. And you've talked about it before, Jim, how when this happens, someone's going to be going through the landfill. Another guy, hey, it's going to be a wide, chaotic market. So anyone who can provide liquidity. In fact, I plan on being one of them. So I'll provide a bid for your Silver Willies. And Jim, one more thing, if we can get some audience comment. You and I have talked about this before. Yara, if you would like to join us on the main stage, maybe you could chime in on this one. One of the things I've found exciting about what we've done here, the software is pretty darn cool. And perhaps folks at home can type in the chat, Yara, am I correct that the fans want Jim Willie Day?
Oh, yes. There's been a chance of Jim Willie Day. I guess it's not as good a chance as I was thinking it was. But yes, everybody would love to have a Jim Willie Day, because, frankly, 15 minutes of Jim Willie just isn't enough. So if we could do a whole day of that, I think a lot of the people here who are saying yes vehemently would love to have that. And somebody Eric just recommended a silver jackass as the coin, which I have to say.
Where are you reading at? Where are you guys reading at?
In the chat. I clicked on right. So there's three chat tabs, one for event, one for stage, and the one we were hanging out in backstage. You guys,
which one do I click?
Stage.
Which one do I click?
Stage in the middle. Yes.
Okay. All right.
But yes, we could very definitely use this same platform, which I think is great because we get to see you live and in color, and your amazing ways of leaning in to make points.
I see someone wants to trade his Mercury dimes. I'll take your Mercury dimes.
A Willie Holic. I think
like
under
Mercury dimes.
In other chats that might mean something different, but in here I get it.
I like Mercury dimes, but my favorite is the Morgan silver dollars, and I think they're going to be a very big saver item and collector item and huge profit and nice premium. The Morgan silver dollar. It is a tremendous coin. Anyway,
I think the Willie Morgan spread is going to expand, and if anyone wants to swap, I'll give you your Morgan dollar for a Willie ounce. And Yara, I'll also second what you said, because yes, 15 minutes, and now we have 1 minute remaining. Obviously is not enough time to properly discuss how in advance of Jim Willie Day, we're already talking to artists to make the Jim Willie bobblehead doll that you can have at home. We want to get an artist who can properly capture the chest hair, which is very important. And these are all.
I am not going to take my clothes off. I am not.
You don't even have to wait for Jim Willie Day to discuss it, because Jim has finally agreed. He has his own booth at Silverfest. What else could we ask for? So Jim is going to stick around and answer questions in his booth. You can find out about making a consultation, getting the hat trick letter, or if you want to make a donation and support the great things that Jim is doing. I know he certainly appreciates that, and always makes his fans and supporters feel like they are getting quite a return on that investment.
Oh, I give them more than what they pay for. Every consult session, I give extra time. I answer a lot of emails every day too. It's interesting. I got to say something. My clients and the followers are very bright people. I give them a lot of credit for intellectual power. I get very few stupid questions. A lot of people provide me added information. I've been getting some pretty cool information just the last couple of days.
Jim, last question for you. In your opinion, when the ball is dropping at the end of 2020, what do you think the price of silver is going to be?
Oh man, it really depends on two things. One, if they have a legitimate market, I think we're going to be looking at 40 something, close to 50. If they allow this continuous naked shorting with tremendous volume, we may be stuck in the mid 30s. We may be in the low 30s. I don't know how much criminality they're going to permit. I really don't know. I mean, you can't say, well, I know how much crime they're going to permit, so here's going to be my forecast. I do not know how much criminality they're going to permit. I did not expect this level of naked shorting that has happened in the last 6 weeks. I did not expect that. So, you can have all these orders, and what you're doing is you're really getting a lot of churning. You're getting a lot of people buying at the present price. I have a feeling something unusual is going on, Chris. I'm going to put it out there before we move to the chat room, the Q&A session. I have a feeling that the global reset is happening right under our feet, and part of the requirements are a stable price. So they're not going to allow a big move in gold and silver for a little while. And then the doors break down. And I don't know when that time limit is, but I've been hearing from numerous parties, including The Voice a few months ago. When you're ready for the reset, you'll know it's happening because things get really stable and stuck. So that could be a factor. Well, then the doors break down. And I'm looking forward to that.
Well, Jim, I can't thank you enough for being here. And I just typed the link in golden-jackass, where if you want to know how Jim sees all this unfolding before it happens, you can get the hat trick letter there. You can get your consultation. And right now, Jim, we're going to shift you over to your booth. We have Dr. Mark Faber coming up next to discuss, what's it, Dr. Faber? Yes, the next time silver goes to $50, will it go over? Jim, thank you again for being here. Folks, check out the Jim Willie Golden Jackass booth where you can meet Jim, ask him your questions now, and we will be back in a couple of minutes.